place to develop. Yeah. I went away from my dreams.
Catch hold.
So do you feel like you feel like it should have been a better turnout, Mr. 13?
This is some sorry shit. Like, the motherfuckers in Hempstead need to know that they live in one of the most disenfranchised villages in Long Island, and for them not to stand up against this oppression is a shame, because when it's time for them to get their thug on and all of that, they can gang bang and they can represent that shit, but they can't fight the real enemies of their community, and those are the white supremacy people. And we understand that they're good officers, but at the end of the day, the police force hires people who have racial hatred for black people, and we need to root those little pieces of shit the fuck out of here, because at some point, they're not going to be able to come in our communities, because they're going to go home in body bags, and that's how it's going to be across the country. You keep on killing people, and you don't give them no recourse, they're going to start killing you, and that's the law of equilibrium. That's the law of reciprocity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, y'all motherfuckers in Hempstead needed to be out here, because at the end of the day, y'all can represent when it comes to throwing gang signs and all of that. Y'all should be able to represent when it's really throwing gang signs against the white supremacy out here. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I've been doing this thing for 28 years. Before that, I've been with Public Enemy for how long? I've been seeing what it is. And we ain't got to explain to white people. We don't need sensitivity training. We need to root out the white supremacy people who work in these offices. If y'all, Long Island is one of the last bastions of white supremacy. It's one of the most segregated places in the country, and we all know that. We don't have to do no more fucking surveys. We don't have to do no more studies. We don't got to study data. We know what it is. And like, listen, Commissioner Ryder, he's trying to reinvent the police and trying to make them have courtesy. He's trying to make them be more of a community policing type thing. But at the end of the day, you got people who have racial hatred, like that officer who put his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck, and the people who have racial hatred, we're gonna have to send them out of here by any means necessary.
Any means.
And because like this, y'all want everybody to play nice on the mic and talk about ain't no love. I don't believe in the fucking Bible. I don't believe in the fucking Quran. I don't believe in the fucking Torah. All that shit is bullshit. All right. I don't believe in turn the other cheek. I believe if you kill us, we kill you. Right. That's it. And this is a whole generation. They believe the same shit. So all of these preachers out here trying to sing Kumbaya and we shall overcome. Fuck that. We're gonna overcome. They know we shall shit. There are 300 million guns in America. The citizens of this country outnumber the 1.5 million National Guards and police. If they don't fucking back up, we're gonna act up. And that's just it. That's it. Enough said.
Fuck. Word up. I can't wait.
Zara said she looked at
Hold on. We're not kids anymore. Yeah. Because of
that entertainment is really the arts. But also thank you so much.
I was waiting for you. So there you go. We waiting for you. Funny.
Little tiny person.
Yeah, she was like this. She was like, "Why didn't you go in, Mr. Milk?" I said, "I'm waiting for you."
Listen, I didn't have to tell you.
I'm not going up there. So y'all you want to be a warrior? The Ethiopians, Nigerians, they had women generals.
Yep.
Go out there and kill them. We got your back.
Listen, I'm part Nigerian. Let me tell you right now, I'm here, and you do have some serious warriors. The New York State Assembly does not play. That is People's House. We have pushed bills this week that we've been working to push for over 5 years, but people were not receptive to it. We still know we have tons of work to do, but you people in the community,
Taylor,
keep that pressure.
Taylor, look who I'm
keep
with.
That pressure.
Hey, Sweetwater, come here.
That pressure.
You know who this
Hi,
is?
how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Sweetwater, come
I'm
here,
Taylor.
come here. Let me introduce you to this young lady. You see this little mess, this mess? This is a Hollywood burnout. He's one of the 3 men in the barbershop in Coming to America. That's Eddie Murphy Productions. That's Sweetwater. That's it right there. This is your elected legislator for your mama. You know what I'm saying? So we don't be rolling through no public enemy. You know we started this whole thing with the TV. So we don't play. That's I don't play with it because I'm an entertainer first. I didn't get involved with the street and the community to be a nice guy. Because all of the entertainers back there, they didn't care. When Public Enemy started the TV show, Chuck G gave me this as a joke. My car was crashed. It was in what was it? My Camaro was crashed. Chuck was like, "Yo, we want you to do a news show." I said, "A news show? I'm going on tour." No, you're not going on tour. I said, "But my car is crashed." He said, "Ride a bike." I rode a bike with the TV show. That's how this thing started in 1993. And I did it with an attitude because I wanted to be on tour. I didn't want to be helping y'all civilians. So that's why I have the attitude, because an entertainer shouldn't have had to start you your own Black News Network. Not an entertainer, but we did it.
But unfortunately, entertainers are kind of like our royalty. We follow. And every once in a while, we get like officials we follow. We get community leaders we follow. But in America, entertainers, that's what pushes stuff.
Well, at least you're not bipolar like Earlene. I love Earlene because she's like, Earlene is like somebody that they threw a roofie in her shit and then she never got back.
But you know what it is though? But you know what it is? I see that she got for 30 years. How isolated that must have been. I have 16 individuals.
She's getting you right now.
Despite the fact that she probably got sick of the bullcrap.
She was raw dogging them. She was jumping on the thing, trying to take the Confederate flag down. She was wilding up there. But what she did was she didn't know who to trust.
It's hard.
I heard they did stop promoting flag, the Confederate flag at NASCAR.
Yep. And they're also taking down tons of statues. Statues that people have been petitioning to remove because they really glorify, I don't know, slavery and hatred. So a lot are coming down.
If we can get you guys to jump on JJ, because I beat him down. I already did him. This you don't got to. But
exactly.
Jacobs, he's a funny dude. And I'll give you an example. He will go and get a Republican to run in a Democratic seat. And he'll tell all the Republicans now, when I told the Democratic Party, y'all best to like slow down and check your boy Swazi. They was like, nah. I said, all right, well, you think you bad because I'm always on your side? Let me see how bad you are when I'm not on your side. And what happened? Langano won. That was a direct challenge. And it was what it was. Because you can't take your warriors and you misuse us. And when it's time for us to feed our families, everybody's like, well, you don't have a degree. You heard it. You don't have a degree.
I would say,
you don't have a degree. But everybody's family, cousins, sisters in the churches is working.
Yeah, and I would say that, I would honestly say that one of the saddest and
coming out to the
tragic things that someone told me while I was
protest.
was that there were no qualified people in District 18 to run for the seat. And I said, that is the most insulting, ridiculous thing I ever heard. I said, so we're qualified to pay these taxes. We're qualified to be overcharged. We're qualified to come to your communities and make sure your commerce is doing well, because you don't want to. People don't want to build here because they need this. They need our buying power, and we continue to support everybody else and their mothers, but us, right? So everybody could do that, but they can't run for office. The only thing you need to do to be able to run for this office is be 18 and prove residency. So anyone, a high school graduate, should be able to run for this seat. So that misconception that we don't work well together, that we don't have candidates. I have a pipeline project I'd love to develop because I said, you know what, we can't wait for people to give us our leaders. Why are we waiting for anyone to give us? We develop them. So the pipeline project is a combination of expert stuff and things that I experience to help people. It's a one-day workshop to help people learn how to lead and run for office.
Yeah, well, who was gonna run for Guzman? She tired right now. What are we gonna do with that?
That's what I'm saying. If we know that these offices are always coming up, anything can happen. Someone could, you know, move. There could be a special election today. We should have a pipeline of people that we can run, people that we develop, people that are helping the community, where we just move you right up in. That's what other communities do. They groom people from childhood to say you're going to be next. My parents groomed me from childhood to be a leader. I didn't think I'd be in government because I didn't enjoy government. I still really don't enjoy government, but I love public service because when I say I'm going to do something, you get your initiative and you hit it, you hit it, you hit it until it gets passed. That's what you have to do.
I'm going to ask you something. What happened when they pulled you over? I know you got pulled over. What's your pullover story?
Who, me?
Tell
my pullover story? You know what's interesting? I've been getting pulled
You from
over.
Hollywood, we don't care about
Listen, I've been getting pulled over by a lot of state police recently, ironically. And I've had to have full conversations with people when I say, hey, here's my state ID, I work here, they want to know more. Well, who do you work with? I'm the assemblywoman. One of them just asked me, well, what do you do in the Capitol? Do you know your job? Like, we're on the same payroll right now. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that gives me different privileges, but if you're treating me like this, right, and questioning me when I'm telling you I'm in a rush to get to a press conference to pass police reform bills, which may be why he wanted to keep me, it's just one of those things where it's like, what are you doing to other people? And as threatened as I ever feel, which I don't feel threatened by them, my men, like when you see my men, I watch people walk to the cars and put their hands on their gun. And that might be protocol, right? But I've also watched just up the block people come to cars, they're not putting their hands on their guns because they don't feel threatened. Like that's what I'm saying, like this is so blatant. We could probably share a million stories, but I'll tell you right now, because I drive a certain type of car, I have been getting pulled over. I got pulled over twice in 1 week. Twice in 1 week, this was last week. And I'm like, what is happening? And they were by state police. So the reality is, people have their biases. They're all built into the police system. The policing system, I really feel like, was a response to freeing slaves and saying we still need labor. We need free labor to rebuild this country. So we have never been free. We are still not free. We are still looking at ridiculous amounts of numbers of people who are incarcerated who look like us when we don't even account for that much of the freaking population. We are not bad. We are not evil. That is not what it is. We are put in horrible systems and situations that might lead us to have to steal. If I have to feed my family and the only option I have is to steal, guess what? I'm feeding my family. Stop putting us in these damn situations. But no, somebody has to be here for them to be here. And right now, we're working to balance these scales one way or another. The system needs a rebuild, and I'm telling you, the New York State Assembly is here for all of it.
So you're going to defund the police?
Listen, I am here for all of them. I'm here to consider everything.
And take their pension.
I'm here to consider everything.
No, that's something different.
I'm here to consider everything on the table, because the reality is also we do have some strong cops who come from our communities, who have to be in forces where now they have to represent every black person that's ever been lived. They have that pressure on their shoulders. We don't want to do that. Policing when done appropriate is exactly what we need. Policing. The over-policing that's done in our communities.
Well, that's police terror. The email that I sent you guys to your assistant, Ms. Figueroa.
She's the director of community affairs. I have an assistant.
Okay, it's a letter that I sent to the legislator Steve Rhodes regarding having hearings for the police terror. Because back in Thanksgiving of 19, I uncovered police, massive police misconduct in Long Island here in Roosevelt of stopping frisk. We've got videos, hours of it. We got one of the officers is written up and been reprimanded for holding up a person's underwear out of the trunk of their car, actually they went on their head, a Nassau County police officer. So they've agreed to hold hearings. So I would ask you to make sure that you talk to your county executive and let her have these victims of terror. I got about 10 of them, which is this young man is one of them, who have been accosted by police not once in a while, but weekly. Stop and frisk.
And it's one of those things, I'm glad you brought that up. I had someone ask what Nassau County's records were for their stop and frisk. They wanted the data. Who you're pulling over, you know, what are they? And that feeds into the legislation we just passed where they have to start documenting the races of people they pull over. A little tricky because you're going to have to ask people, you know what I mean? Everybody who looks a certain way, you don't know how they identify as far as race. But they were saying that the information on stop and frisk and different things like that, the data is not digitized. So they can't just, you know, if you try to foil it, it's really hard to get because it's just sitting somewhere
I know
in a
they
file.
gave you the stuff. I sent you a copy of it.
Yes, exactly. So the thing is, all of these forms need to be digitized. They need to be properly monitored. They need to be very accessible, over-communicated. Because that's the thing. How can we track what we're doing wrong if we're not analyzing this data and this data is not public knowledge and accessible to the public? Like it really has to be.
Is your relationship good with News 12 and Newsday? Are they responsive to you?
Newsday?
Newsday and News 12, are they responsive to you?
Yeah, they're responsive, but you know what? It's all about who owns the media. You know what I mean? Like, if you own the media, you're able to do what it is you need to do. I would say Carolyn Gusoff has really been a great reporter to partner with to expose a lot of things that are going on within District 18 in a journalistic way. Like, you know, my sister Sydney Daniel, she's the person who ran me for this seat. This was her suggestion to fix the community. She's like, before we try to leave, we need to fix the community that educated us, that supported us, that what? 28 years.
They like to fund us, but they play games with our funding. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. We don't have a congressional person running like a month ago. There was no congressional person in our district.
They may not have a primary, so no, this is just for primary. Yeah, so if there was no Democratic primary against the president, which would be, I believe, in the Catholic Rights, if there was no primary, that's a good point. I would love to. Town hall. You know, town hall. Yes, they are.
I really want to thank everybody who came out thus far. I know a couple people should be joining us shortly, but this is a powerful demonstration. We're taking off from the heart of the village of Hempstead. We're going to be taking to the county legislature, and as we march, as we protest, as we chant, as we shout, I want you guys to remember why we're out here. We're out here because all of our lives have a heightened mortality in this country as black and brown people, and in 2020 that is unacceptable. So we're going to make our voices heard, we're going to make ourselves loud, we're going to make ourselves noticeable, so that when we get to the county legislature, they're going to have to give us results in terms of what they're going to do at the county level, at our local level, in our communities, to make sure that they get our vote. Really quickly, I couldn't have done this without my team, Strategy for Black Lives. And they came to Long Island because we realized that Nassau County is still one of the most segregated places in America. Just hosted a Black Women's March in New York City. I thank our organizers for that. That was incredibly powerful. But we still have a lot more work to do. We have the Nassau County chapter of the National Action Network still here with us. We have representatives from the New York Civil Liberties Union who will be joining us shortly. We have Young Long Island for Justice, about you, things that we are targeting right now, and we are thankful for them because they have been doing the work for years to improve electoral power in communities of color. Of this town, a fellow Hempstead High School alum, as well as Hempstead, and is down with our cause, down with making reform and pushing us in the right direction, Mayor Don Ryan.
I thank you, Travis Griffin, and all those people that are assembled here today. Certainly there was a time of sadness and anger. We all know what happened in Minnesota to some extent.
After she joined us, she was on her way actually back to Hempstead, but she came around, wrapped around in her car, despite she was in her casual wear, but she made sure that she was speaking to the young people whose lives were directly affected by the things going on. She's somebody who understands the issues that are near and dear to our hearts, and we appreciate her, we love her. Assemblywoman Darling, please.
I'm definitely clapping for you guys and not myself, but guys, I'm Taylor Darling. I have the honor and privilege of representing this area, Roosevelt, Uniondale, Freeport, Merrick, West Hempstead, some houses in Garden City, very few of them. But I have the most beautiful and diverse community here in Nassau County. And the segregation that I witness, I taste, I smell every single day, it's beyond me. It impacts us at every level, from education, housing, to healthcare. And we really know that separate but equal does not exist. Yes. It does not exist. So until we really are able to fully integrate, people are going to continue to rest on the biases that this country was founded on. So we have a lot of work to do, but you guys are up doing the work. I just want to say, everyone, pace yourselves, because the civil rights movement lasted for years. And it is time for another one. Another one has started. Yep. We were not expecting this. We didn't let COVID stop, but still be safe and wear your mask. We didn't let COVID stop this movement, but something happens when we're away from each other for 3 months. And then there's an incident that ignites us and drives the passion in our hearts, and we are finding these reasons to come together. That's why I believe these protests are so successful right now. So let's use this momentum, but pace yourselves. And I'm here for all of you. I love you all. Be safe.
Good afternoon. My name is Nikhil Goyal. I want to thank Travis for organizing this rally in March. You know, Travis has mentioned that we live in the most segregated, one of the most segregated places in the nation. And that was not by accident. It was deliberate. It was the result of decades upon decades of racist housing policy. We will be marching through Garden City, which has violated the Fair Housing Act. They have been sued for violating the Fair Housing Act. The island's physical geography is a result of decades of redlining, racial steering, block busting, racially restrictive covenants, and subprime mortgages. It is the result of people in power preying on black and brown people. Yes. So when we stand here and we condemn the police killings of so many African American men, women, LGBTQ people, we also recognize the levels of police violence in our county. We have seen protesters being arrested in places like Garden City, in East Meadow, and other places in this island who have been peacefully protesting and received violent confrontation by the police. And it is our job to tell our representatives, to tell County Executive Laura Curran, that if you refuse to hold your police force accountable, we will vote you out! And so when we think about the next steps for what we need to do, we need to talk about the fact that in this county, the people who run the show are the police unions who fund our local politicians, who take thousands of dollars in contributions from them. So I encourage you to call your state senators, to call your state assembly men and women, to call your county legislators and tell them if they want to support Black Lives Matter, they cannot take money from an entity that defends the murder and massacre of black lives. We've been calling folks to look at the Nassau County budget to examine why is it that we spend more money on the police than housing, than health care, than education, than social services. It isn't right that we continue to expand money for the police while kids here in the village of Hempstead are being educated in trailers. While kids in the village of Hempstead are dying of asthma at several times the rate as kids in Garden City. Right here in the village of Hempstead, that people are dying because of the lack of access to nutritious, healthy, and affordable food. But we've got to call out systemic racism, not just in policing. So I will just close with this. I encourage you to stay in this fight. Dr. King and the members of the civil rights movement in the 1960s.
No peace! No peace! Don't hurt my head. Yo, don't worry. Is that what she said? Ready?
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Black lives!
Matter!
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 Black lives! 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 No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace! 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 No peace!
Everything
Yeah, recording.
We out here, baby. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No peace. No peace.
No peace! No peace!
No justice, no peace. Look, they're escorting us. Matter. We out here.
Tell me why shorty right there look familiar as hell. The police in the back.
Hell yeah.
Don't she look like we know?
Word up.
All these black police look like they be in the hood, yo.
Yeah, definitely.
He definitely look like he be in the hood.
Yeah, look at this again. Yeah. Want it?
Oh, my bad. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. what's up? I thought somebody got shot. Yo, Philippe. Get this right here. Give me 1 second. Get the police behind me. Don't mess with us.
Fuck the police, man. We got the one right here too. They trying to trap us off in this motherfucker.
Fuck the police, nigga.
FTP, man.
FTP.
Some woody shit. Yo. Nassau County chapter, baby. White gang shit.
FTP. Police, nigga.
FTP, baby.
FTP.
We out here mobbing.
Fuck the police.
We running these streets right now. The police are escorting us, man. This the only time in America when they fucking do their job. When they supposed to hold us down and we protesting. This is the only time they do this shit. This is the only time I seen the motherfucking police do their job and not act out of order. Niggas don't hold it down. OT in the cut. I seen him. He was over there. Look at this. Look at this. Done. Yeah, something.
Yeah, they basically gonna say the same thing they just said. Yeah. We got enough footage though just now. We just got some good footage.
The tanks out in Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's why they got their precinct burned.
Yeah.
Y'all niggas ain't burning no precinct out here?
Yeah, but that's
a good shot right there.
Nah, I don't think niggas
Voice to the vote. Yeah. I went away from my dreams. Yeah. Yeah. I went away from my dreams. Felt like I couldn't believe. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Time running from me. I ran away from my dreams. Felt like I couldn't believe. I felt like I couldn't breathe. So I ran away from my dreams. I ran away from my dreams. Felt like I couldn't believe. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Time running from me. I ran away from my dreams. Felt like I couldn't believe. I felt like I couldn't breathe. So I ran away from my dreams.